Welcome, child of fire, the fierce soul known as Aries. How many times have you felt like you were standing right at the edge of something great, and then someone walked away, leaving behind only silence? Maybe you didn't realize it then, but that very moment was when the universe began to rewrite your story. This November, destiny doesn't just take someone from your life. It opens a portal of freedom, of wealth, and of the deepest rebirth your soul has ever known. So now, close your eyes for a moment and let your heart listen to that quiet calling. Because when one door closes, another far greater begins to open. And it happens on November 1st, the dawn of your new chapter November, the gate of destiny. This November carries a different kind of color, as if even the sky itself is holding its breath, waiting for something to begin. Deep inside you can feel it, Aries. The universe is quietly rewriting a new chapter of your life. No noise, no warning, only a stillness that settles over everything, like the silence before the first rain. November 1st isn't just another date on the calendar. It's a hidden doorway, and once you step through it, nothing will ever be the same again. Someone will leave, someone you once believed would stay forever. But listen closely, their departure isn't a punishment. It's a release. For them, and for you. That person has already fulfilled their purpose in your story. They came to show you the most fragile part of your heart, the part that clings, that fears, that cannot yet stand alone. And when their role was complete, they left, just as all teachers do. In the wisdom of Buddhism, separation is never an ending. It is simply a continuation in another form. When one door closes, its warmth still lingers in the air, like incense smoke that keeps its scent long after the flame is gone. How many times have you asked, "Why me?" But perhaps the real question is, why am I still holding on? Because sometimes the one who walks away is not abandoning you, they're freeing you. They're stepping out of a chapter your soul finished writing long ago. And in the quiet that follows, something miraculous begins to unfold. A small ray of light slips through the cracks. A new breath touches your heart. The universe always knows when to take something away. Only when space is created can the light find its way in. Think about it. Haven't the greatest changes in your life come when you had nothing left to lose? Pain, as cruel as it seems, is often the first true teacher of awakening. You once believed your strength was in never falling, but today you are learning a higher form of strength, the courage to let go. No more fighting to hold on, no more battles to prove your worth, because sometimes the strongest thing you can do is to allow everything to leave peacefully. The person who left didn't take your future with them, they only carried away the part of your past that had served its time. Be grateful for what was shared, whether sweet or bitter. It was all sacred material for your growth. They came to show you that love is not possession, it is the freedom to let the soul fly. If you've ever said goodbye to someone and thought your heart would never heal, only to realize later that their leaving was the reason you found your way back to life, share that story, write it down. Because every story of healing becomes a star lighting the sky for others still walking through the dark. From this moment on, don't fear the emptiness. See it as the universe giving you a pause to breathe, to restore, to hear the rhythm of your own heart again. Because the universe never takes without preparing a greater gift in return. And when the door closes behind you, you'll see what's on the other side isn't an ending, it's a call to awaken. A soft sound moving through the wind, calling you home to your purest energy. Because when something leaves, the universe never leaves a void. What comes next is the return of your inner power. Aries, sometimes you don't realize how exhausted you are until your body starts trembling from nothing more than a sigh. There are mornings you wake up with your mind still tangled in memories of someone who's gone, of a dream that no longer has a home, of a promise that dissolved into the wind. You keep telling yourself if you try a little harder, love a little longer, maybe things will go back to the way they were. But the universe whispers softly, "No, my child, you're holding on to a rotting plank. blocking the flow of your own river. Imagine standing at the edge of a great dam. Behind you, a vast body of water, the energy, love, and life that belong to you. In front of you, an old cracked board you clutch tightly, believing it will keep you safe. But the water can't move, the trees can't grow, and you remain trapped between the past and the present. You fear that letting go will break you apart. Yet, only when the water runs free will you discover the true strength within you. Saturn, the planet of lessons and maturity, is shining its light on you right now. It hasn't come to punish you, but to help you see where you've been pouring too much of yourself, too much hope, too much effort into something that's no longer alive. Saturn teaches that energy never disappears, it only gets stuck where we no longer belong. And if you're brave enough to reclaim that energy, life will return it to you in miraculous ways you can't yet imagine. How many years have you spent trying to prove something? That you're good enough, patient enough, worthy of love? But real love doesn't need proof. It isn't a race, it's peace. And if someone makes you drain yourself just to keep them, they were never yours, they were your lesson. Letting go is not weakness. Letting go is self-respect. It's when you sit among the broken pieces of your past and whisper, "I've done enough." And in that moment, instead of loss, you begin to hear another sound, the sound of life returning. Water flowing, branches sprouting, and your heart, after years of storms, finally learning what peace feels like. You can't pour new life into a heart still full of ghosts. Everything old must be cleared before the new can arrive. The universe longs to fill your cup with blessings, but right now, it's overflowing with yesterday's tears. Empty it, Aries. Let those old drops fall into the earth to nourish the seeds of what's to come. The energy you once used to hold on to worry, to chase, to fight will not be lost. It will become fuel for a new journey, one of creation, freedom, and prosperity. And you'll be amazed to see that the most beautiful things in your life were born from moments that once felt like endings. If you're hearing this and feel a heaviness inside you, pause for a moment, take a slow breath, and ask yourself, what part of my past is still draining my energy? Name it. Because healing always begins the moment we face our wounds instead of hiding from them. You were born to act, to conquer, but perhaps your greatest challenge is not to climb higher. It's to learn how to lay the burden down. Because when your hands finally release, they remember how to receive. And when you are truly ready, when your mind stops thrashing against old memories, you will hear a voice, gentle as wind, speaking deep within your soul. A voice carrying the ancient wisdom of the heavens. It is Saturn, the wise teacher of the universe, stepping forward now to test your spirit. Aries, how many times have you asked yourself, why must I always be the one to fight? Why are you always the one standing at the front line, heart burning with a fire that refuses to die, even when the world topple around you has turned to ash? Maybe it's because your soul was born to act, to protect, to prove that your love and your faith deserve to be seen. But then one day, your hands begin to tremble from weariness, and your eyes no longer search for victory, they search for peace. And that's when you realize, you don't want to fight anymore. That is when Saturn appears, the stern, but deeply compassionate teacher of the universe. He doesn't bring you rewards, he brings you a mirror. And in that mirror, you see yourself a warrior, exhausted, still gripping your sword, too afraid to let go, believing surrender means defeat. But Saturn whispers softly, "No, my child, this is not failure, this is your lesson." In Buddhist philosophy, nothing is ever truly lost. Forms only change to make room for growth. Just as autumn must let the leaves fall, so that spring can return again. When we stop resisting impermanence, peace finds us naturally. And Saturn, with his ancient eyes, simply wants you to understand that truth. Picture a warrior standing in the middle of the battlefield, his sword in hand, his armor torn, but his posture still noble and strong. The drums have fallen silent. All he hears now is the steady rhythm of his own heart, beating softly, whispering, "Lay it down." And when the blade finally touches the ground, he is no longer the defeated. He is the awakened. Your lesson now, Aries, isn't in motion, it's in stillness. Stop, so you can listen. Stop, so you can see clearly which battles are real and which are only shadows of the past that you've been swinging at all this time. Sometimes blind determination is the chain, and surrender is the key. You weren't born to win every war. You were born to know when to walk away grateful, wiser, carrying only what truly matters, your kindness, your self-respect, and your love for yourself. Look back, every pain you've endured, hasn't it shaped you into who you are? Saturn has used loss to polish your soul, turning pain into wisdom and loneliness into the power to heal yourself. You were never meant to win this war. You were meant to end it. And in that ending, you will finally understand the greatest victory is not making someone stay, but smiling when they leave. If you've ever discovered that surrendering wasn't weakness, but freedom, share your story. Because when one person dares to speak, 100 others find the courage to let go. Saturn teaches that serenity doesn't come from control, it comes from trust. The trust that everything happens in its right time, with the right people, in the right way. When you stop forcing life into shape, life begins to shape itself perfectly to guide you exactly where you're meant to be. Now imagine yourself standing beneath the night sky. There's one star, brighter than the rest, steady, golden, still. That is Saturn, the symbol of discipline, of sacred wisdom. He never promises an easy road, but he does promise that every hardship will have meaning, and when you pass his test, the reward won't come in coins or comfort, it will come as the quiet strength of a soul reborn. A strength no one can ever take from you. From that place of clarity, your heart begins to sense something stirring, a new current of energy, swift, powerful, like the wind changing direction. A force no longer driven by struggle, but by openness and gratitude. Because once you pass Saturn's sacred test, a new power rises within you, a power strong enough to ignite the greatest revolution of your life, the revolution of freedom and abundance. Aries, when one door closes, its soft sound is often drowned out by the noise inside your own heart. But sometimes, in that very silence, something extraordinary begins to move. That's the moment Uranus, the great revolutionary of the skies, steps into your life. He doesn't arrive gently, like a lullaby. He comes as a flash of lightning tearing through the darkness, awakening a soul that has been asleep for too long. Uranus in Taurus represents the liberation of wealth. Not the kind you measure with numbers in a bank account, but the wealth of freedom, of wisdom, of being able to create value without ever selling your soul. When you stop pouring your energy into the past, when you stop trying to save what's already gone, the universe redirects that current. From the place where there once were tears, new rivers of opportunity begin to rise. From the places where you once carried wounds, springs of golden abundance begin to flow. You used to believe that you had to work until you broke, that your worth was something you had to prove through sweat, struggle, and fear of not having enough. But Uranus comes to remind you wealth does not come from fear, it comes from worthiness. When you stop running from scarcity, you begin walking into the vibration of abundance. When you stop believing you must take, you start attracting. Imagine your energy as a great river. For years, you've let it flow backward toward worry, toward people who are no longer there, toward dreams that no longer breathe. Now Uranus gently places his hand on your shoulder and says, "Turn around. The water was never lost. It was just flowing the wrong way." And when you redirect it, everything begins to awaken. New ideas, new connections, new prosperity, even money from unexpected places begins to find you. They say money is energy, and that truth runs deeper than you think. When your heart is clean, when your intentions are aligned with light, money begins to approach like a loyal friend, not to control you, but to walk beside you. You no longer need to chase every coin. You begin to realize, when you stop chasing survival, abundance starts chasing you. You may soon hear news about finances, a business idea, an unexpected payment, a collaboration that feels like divine timing. Don't be surprised. It's not magic, it's energy. You've learned to release. You've stopped resisting. And when you no longer cling to what isn't yours, the universe finally has space to give you what is. The 5 million rubles you may hear of isn't just a number. It's a symbol, a code for unleashed energy. It represents the powerful current of the cosmos flowing through you from soul to matter. Once your heart opens, that current turns ideas into reality, faith into fortune. And the most beautiful part? You no longer need to chase it because you have become the magnet of prosperity itself. Look around, Aries. You might already see small signs, someone mentioning a new project, money unexpectedly returning, an idea once forgotten coming back to life. That's how Uranus speaks through synchronicities and sparks of possibility. Welcome them with an open heart, no doubt, no calculation. Because wealth isn't about having more, it's about realizing you are already enough. Etch this affirmation into your soul. I am ready to receive abundance. And if you wish, let the whole universe hear you write it in the comments. I'm ready to receive abundance. When your voice travels through that frequency, the universe listens and doors of energy begin to open. Uranus isn't here just to bring you money or opportunity. He's guiding you deeper to a place where prosperity is not measured by numbers, but by the people who will walk beside you, the souls who will rise with you. Because in the end, true wealth doesn't live in your account. It lives in a heart that knows how to share, how to give, and how to walk in gratitude. And as the golden light of Uranus begins to pour through your life, you will realize abundance was never something to be found. It was something you were always meant to become. And from within that glow, a question rises gentle as the wind touching an open window. Because wealth isn't only about numbers, it's about who stands beside you when you rise. There are relationships that once were light, and over time became shadow. People who once made you smile every morning, who later left your heart tightening in silence. Yet you stayed out of fear of being alone, out of the belief that love means holding on, out of the hope that loyalty could somehow save everything. Until one day, your soul begins to speak. Not through words, but through the heaviness in your chest, the quiet fatigue that no name can describe. And that is when Pluto arrives. Pluto, the surgeon of the soul, doesn't come to wound you, but to heal you from the deepest layer within. He doesn't argue, doesn't raise his voice. He simply places a mirror before you and whispers, "Look closely. Who truly still belongs on this path?" You look into the mirror and there they are, familiar faces. Some smiling, some long turned away. You begin to see that not everyone is meant to walk with you until the very end, and that's okay. In the garden of your soul, some branches have dried, some flowers have wilted. Still, you've kept watering them, hoping for a miracle to bring them back to life. But Pluto steps forward, gently takes your hand, and says, compassion doesn't always mean holding on. Sometimes, compassion is knowing when to let go. He teaches that love is not attachment. Love is knowing when release brings freedom to both hearts. You've held on to people who made you smaller, who dimmed the fire that once burned so brightly in you, and when they left, you thought you lost everything. But you hadn't lost, you were simply shedding an old skin so your spirit could grow larger. The wrong people keep you small. The right ones help you remember how big your spirit truly is. Ask yourself who in your life nourishes your light, and who drains it away. Not everyone is bad. Some are simply no longer aligned with the energy you now live in. Some teach you love, others teach you limits. Both matter, but none are meant to hold you forever in the past. Pluto doesn't just take away what's old, he creates the sacred space for what's new to be born. Like cleaning a closet, only when you clear away the old clothes can you make room for something beautiful to arrive. In the world of energy, the law is the same. When you release toxic connections, New souls, gentle, peaceful, authentic, will begin to appear in your life. If, while hearing this, someone comes to mind, someone you've already outgrown, pause for a moment. Thank them silently, not for the pain they caused, but for showing you what you truly need and deserve. Think of one person you've outgrown. How did letting them go change you? Because sometimes gratitude is the most beautiful way to close a chapter without bitterness. In every farewell, there is a moment of emptiness, but right after that, a small, soft beam of light, pure, gentle, like a new breath entering your chest. That is your soul returning to life. Pluto calls it the sacred purge, the holy cleansing. After the storm, the sky is always clearer. After loss, the heart always grows wider. And once your garden is cleared, when the air around you becomes still and bright, the universe begins preparing for a new season of planting, a season not burdened by the weight of the old, but filled with seeds of peace. Because after your garden is purified, Jupiter will come carrying gentle light and invite you to plant the most beautiful thing you'll ever grow, the feeling of home within your own soul. In the midst of life's wild changes, there comes a time when you realize there's no place that truly feels like home. Not because you don't have a place to return to, but because your soul is too tired to rest anywhere. Maybe that's why Jupiter, the planet of wisdom and expansion, is gently knocking on the door of your fourth house, the house of inner peace. He doesn't arrive with thunder or miracles, but with a quiet breath, as if to say, stop searching for home out there, because it's been within your heart all along. Peace isn't a destination. It's not a person who makes you feel whole, nor the material comfort that numbs your fear. True peace begins the moment you rebuild the house within yourself, a home where every part of you, light and shadow alike, is welcomed and loved. Jupiter teaches that safety is not when the world stops changing, but when you can sit in stillness through every storm without losing who you are. Some seek security in love, in work, in long-term plans, but all of it is an illusion if inside a hollow space remains unhealed. Take a moment to look around your space, your room, your desk, the window where the morning light touches softly. Each corner is a reflection of your inner world. If your surroundings are cluttered, perhaps your mind is too. Start small. Buy something you love, a candle, a small plant, or simply move the cushion where you meditate. Every gentle act is a declaration. I am worthy of peace. Jupiter invites you to create an energy anchor, something to remind you that you are safe and protected. It might be a small stone, a prayer bead, a photo that brings back the innocence of your heart. Each time you see it, pause for a few seconds, breathe slowly, smile, and whisper, I am home. Because your true home isn't a place, it's the peace you carry wherever you go. Your real home isn't found on any map, it lives in your breath, in the rhythm of your heart, in the quiet moments where you allow yourself to simply be. In a world obsessed with speed and success, what humanity needs most isn't more achievement, it's more people who know how to live peacefully. A society becomes truly healthy only when each individual creates harmony within. For inner peace is the first brick in building the peace of the world. So tonight, turn off your phone, let silence wrap around you, cook yourself a simple meal, write a few lines in your journal, take a walk under the moonlight. Don't search for something extraordinary, just listen, because in that simplicity, your soul begins to sing again. If you could describe home in one word, what would it be? Write it somewhere on paper, in the comments, or simply in your heart. Because the moment you name it, that energy comes alive, flowing back toward you, calling in people and experiences that match your peace. And when you finally feel safe within yourself, the world outside begins to shift. The right people appear. Opportunities, joy, and abundance start to find their way to your door, not because you chase them, but because the universe is drawn to souls that radiate calm. And when your inner home is strong, when your heart no longer trembles, everything good will naturally find its way to you. Because once you feel at home within yourself, abundance will always know the way to your door. The dawn of November 1st doesn't arrive with bells or miracles. It comes as a quiet light breaking gently through the dark. No more fear, no more echoes from the past. Only the soft breath of a soul that has walked a long road and finally learned to smile through change. It's the morning you open your eyes and feel light. No resistance, no running, no searching. Just a deep peace spreading through you, as if your spirit finally understands that every loss had a purpose, and nothing was ever truly taken away. Uranus, the god of awakening and freedom, is switching on a new current in your life. Everything begins to move again softly, yet surely. Work that once felt blocked now opens with ease. Money that once stagnated begins to flow. A new relationship, clear and genuine, touches your heart with calm energy. No more battles, no more fear. Only the sense that everything in the universe is whispering in unison. Now, it's your time. And you realize a deeper truth: the very things that once made you cry have become the foundation of your happiness. The ones who left, you can finally thank them. Because without their departure, how could you have found yourself again? How could you have known that love isn't possession, but the sacred space where two souls are free to fly? In the wisdom of Buddhist teaching, when you stop craving, life begins to flow toward you. The universe never turns away from those who know stillness. When you stop demanding, you start attracting. When you stop saying, "I need," life responds by whispering, "I give." For in surrender, your energy becomes transparent, and blessings flow toward you like water returning to the sea. True wealth is not money. It is freedom. It is the dignity of the soul. It's when you can smile in the middle of imperfection, when you no longer need to prove your worth, when you know that everything you need has always been inside you. Wealth is the ability to stand still in a spinning world and still feel full. It's knowing that peace is the highest currency of all. Looking back, you realize the universe never truly took anyone or anything away. It simply cleared the road so that what's meant for you could find its way home. The universe didn't take someone from you, it cleared the path for everything meant for you. And now, the road ahead stretches wide and golden, free of fear. You walk forward, no longer carrying weight, only your own light. If you're hearing this right now, let your heart speak these words. I claim my freedom and my abundance. Write it down. Say it out loud. Let the universe hear you. Let it become your sacred declaration for this new chapter of your life. Thank you for walking through pain with courage. Thank you for believing in light even when surrounded by darkness. Your journey was never meaningless. It has made you living proof of the power of faith and compassion. May peace, prosperity, and divine love always surround you, for you are and will always be a warrior of light.